Breakfast cereal used to be seen as the wholesome way to begin your day. For generations, commercials told us it was the heart-healthy choice, a quick, easy breakfast that kept families strong. But for millions of older Americans, that comforting image hides a different truth. Behind the bright boxes and smiling mascots lie mountains of refined sugar chemical additives and sodium levels high enough to send blood pressure soaring. What looks harmless on the shelf might actually be undermining your heart, kidneys, and memory one spoonful at a time. Today on Healthy Hues Wellness, we're uncovering the real story behind the cereals that promise health but deliver harm. We'll expose 9 popular brands you should avoid and reveal the 2 that genuinely support your body instead of sabotaging it. Let's start with number 9, Frosted Flakes. The box smiles back at you with that friendly striped tiger. It looks cheerful, nostalgic, maybe even energizing. But inside, it's a very different picture. Nearly 40% of every box is pure sugar. Almost half of what you pour into your bowl is nothing more than refined sugar crystals glued onto each cornflake. Imagine eating candy disguised as breakfast. The Centers for Disease Control estimates that children consume over 10 pounds of sugar every year just from cereal, and many seniors chasing that childhood memory aren't far behind. Take the first spoonful. The syrup coats your tongue, the flakes cling to your teeth, and within 2 minutes of sitting in milk, you're left with a bowl of liquid candy water. For anyone, that's too much. But for older adults, especially those managing blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, it's a metabolic disaster. Blood sugar spikes sharply, memory and focus dip, and your heart works overtime to process the overload. Researchers at the University of Bath discovered that a high-sugar breakfast can impair attention and strain cardiovascular function within hours. That burst of energy you feel at first, it's not fuel, it's a roller coaster crash waiting to happen. The box proudly declares it's fortified with vitamins and minerals. But sprinkling synthetic B12 over sugar flakes doesn't make them healthy. It's like strapping a seatbelt onto a car with no brakes. The marketing hides another issue: chemical preservatives such as BHT, which some scientists have linked to possible endocrine disruption. Europe enforces strict limits on BHT, but here in the United States it's still allowed to sit quietly in every bowl. As Robert F. Kennedy Jr. once pointed out, some cereals are literally safer overseas than they are in American kitchens. Now imagine this combination inside a senior's body: heart medications, diabetes pills, blood pressure drugs, all working hard to stabilize your system. Then one sugary breakfast floods in, reversing everything those pills try to achieve. A dietitian working in elder care once said, "Frosted Flakes undoes a whole morning of meds before lunch." It's a sobering truth, but one that deserves attention. So what's the better path forward? It doesn't require fancy ingredients or expensive brands. The simplest choice often works best: plain oats topped with real fruit. Slice a banana, toss in some berries, maybe a drizzle of natural honey. You'll get the gentle sweetness your taste buds crave, plus fiber and nutrients that support your heart rather than strain it. No chemicals, no crash, just steady energy and real nourishment. That's the kind of breakfast your body understands, one that calms your system instead of sending it into chaos. Because in the end, health isn't hidden in a cartoon tiger's grin. It's found in whole, honest foods that help you thrive long after breakfast is over. And if you thought plain oats were the safe option, just wait until you see what happens when even the heart-healthy brands start playing tricks with sugar. Coming up next, we'll look at number 8 Cheerios with added flavors and uncover how one trusted name turned its healthy halo into a sweet deception. That faint chemical aftertaste that lingers after each spoonful is not heart health. It is a mix of additives that silently strain your kidneys and interfere with your medications. Doctors have long warned that the added sodium and preservatives in flavored cereals can react with blood pressure and cholesterol drugs, making the problem worse instead of protecting you. Many older adults who switched from plain Cheerios to Honey Nut versions for a bit more sweetness ended up consuming an extra 10 to 12 grams of sugar per serving without even realizing it. That is nearly half the sugar in a can of soda gone before you finish your morning coffee. And here is where the deeper betrayal lies. This is not some flashy kids cereal with cartoon mascots and neon colors. This is Cheerios, a brand that built its empire on trust. For decades, it was the symbol of heart-smart living. When they added the promise of vitamins and minerals, people believed they were making a safe choice. But underneath that promise, every O is coated in sugar and glaze. That is not nutrition. That is marketing dressed as medicine. The real fix is much simpler. Go back to basics. Choose plain Cheerios, the original kind that earned its reputation honestly. Or take it one step further with organic oat cereals that have been tested for pesticide safety. Add your own fruit for flavor, a few slices of banana, some blueberries, or a drizzle of honey. You control the sweetness and you skip the chemicals your body does not need. The box says heart smart, but what is inside often puts more strain on the heart than support. That is the truth behind flavored Cheerios. They fake the heart. And just when you think you have seen the worst, another cereal takes the illusion even further. Number 7 on the list. Lucky Charms, the so-called magically delicious cereal that turns out to be more chemical trick than magic. Those pastel marshmallows that look so innocent are chemical candy in disguise. Advertisers sold us rainbows, leprechauns, and fun mornings, but what we really got was a bowl filled with artificial dyes and refined starch. The marshmallows squeak under your teeth like styrofoam, leaving a sugary film that coats your tongue. The bright blues, neon pinks, and glowing greens come from petroleum-based dyes like Yellow 5, Blue 1, and Red 40. Studies have connected these dyes to hyperactivity in children, and some are banned or restricted across Europe. Even Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has spoken about how U.S. food regulations lag far behind when it comes to keeping these toxic colors out of our kitchens, yet they are still poured into American breakfast bowls every morning. It is not just the marshmallows that cause trouble. The cereal base itself is mostly starch and sugar. The moment it hits your stomach, blood sugar levels skyrocket, forcing your pancreas to produce insulin at full speed. For seniors already managing diabetes or taking heart medication that is not breakfast, it is a glucose roller coaster. These repeated spikes drain your energy, cloud your mind, and wear down your system over time. Nutritionists warn that one serving of Lucky Charms carries the same sugar load as a frosted donut. Add milk and you are drinking syrup by the last spoonful. The FDA allows these dyes in limited amounts, but watchdog groups continue to flag them as unsafe for children and older adults. Should anyone gamble their kidney health on marshmallows shaped like moons and clovers? In 2022, thousands of consumers reported nausea and vomiting after eating Lucky Charms. The FDA opened an investigation as complaints flooded in. No official recall followed, but the headlines were enough to make people question what kind of magic they had been buying all along. There is nothing magical about it. It is just a chemical experiment pretending to be breakfast. The safer choice is simple whole grain muesli with dried fruit. You still get crunch, natural sweetness, and real fiber that supports your digestion instead of tearing it down. Your body deserves ingredients that nourish, not chemicals that harm. Because in the end, luck has nothing to do with health. Every choice at the breakfast table is a decision between long-term strength and short-term sweetness. Healthy Hues Wellness reminds you to choose the kind of breakfast that loves you back. Inside that familiar golden box lies a cereal stripped bare of everything nature intended it to be. Cornflakes were once sold as the symbol of simple, wholesome mornings, but the truth is far from golden. The natural fiber from real corn is gone, replaced with starch sprayed in sugar and preservatives designed to keep you hooked. The glossy flakes you see in commercials are not nutrition. They are empty starch that breaks down into sugar almost the moment it touches your tongue. The healthy image has always been the illusion. Real corn provides fiber that keeps digestion moving and supports gut health. But when it is processed into flakes, that fiber disappears. What remains is a fast-burning starch that spikes blood sugar, drops it just as fast, and leaves you hungry and fatigued. For older adults, it is even worse. The lack of fiber slows digestion and increases the risk of constipation, while sudden sugar swings exhaust the pancreas and strain the heart. Doctors have said it for decades, fiber is one of the most important nutrients for aging bodies. Yet this so-called healthy cereal delivers almost none. Within minutes of sitting in milk, the flakes collapse into a soggy paste that clings to your spoon like wallpaper glue. Its bland taste makes it seem harmless, but the danger hides in that plainness. You are eating refined starch that gives your body nothing to work with. No strength, no balance, no nourishment. A report from the Harvard School of Public Health found that low-fiber, high-glycemic cereals like cornflakes are linked to a higher risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease. That means the breakfast many seniors trust to protect their health is quietly making things worse. Even the plainest versions contain added sodium, which raises blood pressure and adds stress to aging kidneys. Add the thin layer of sugar applied during production, and the illusion of health falls apart. When the Food and Drug Administration ranked processed cereals by nutrient value, cornflakes landed near the bottom. You would get more fiber from a single slice of whole wheat bread than from an entire bowl of flakes. Every spoonful is a missed opportunity for your body to heal, rebuild, and stay strong. For seniors who depend on nutrition to support medication and longevity, that missing fiber is not just a number on a label, it is a risk to digestion, gut balance, and cholesterol control. The solution is simpler than the marketing would have you believe. Skip the cardboard mush. Choose real grains that still resemble food. Steel-cut oats or rolled oats topped with fresh fruit provide natural sweetness, steady energy, and fiber that keeps your system running smoothly. Real food should nourish, not pretend. Cornflakes may have started the breakfast cereal era, but today they are little more than a ghost of nutrition. And if you thought bland was bad, wait until the colors start to glow. Because next on the list is chaos in a box rings of neon sugar that promise fruity fun but deliver chemical confusion. Number 5. Fruit Loops. The box shouts fruit. The smiling toucan spreads joy, and every ad calls it part of a balanced breakfast. But open the box and look closer. There is not a single drop of real fruit in those bright circles. Each ring is a blend of sugar and petroleum-based dyes. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 1. The same synthetic colors linked by researchers to hyperactivity and even potential cancer risks. Europe warns consumers with clear labels and tighter restrictions, but in the United States they are still quietly poured into breakfast bowls without a second thought. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has pointed out this double standard for years. Ingredients banned overseas still line our grocery shelves. Every serving of Fruit Loops holds nearly 12 grams of sugar, more than a glazed donut, and that is before the milk. Once the milk is added, the colors bleed, turning the bowl into grayish liquid that looks more like a science experiment than food. The aftertaste lingers, a chemical film that coats your mouth and refuses to leave. For older adults, the damage goes far beyond taste. That rush of sugar strains kidneys, floods the liver, and collides with common medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes. It is a toxic mix that the body has to fight before the day has even begun. One spoonful may not feel dangerous, but decades of small doses accumulate into very real health problems. Consumer watchdog groups have repeatedly warned that Fruit Loops is more candy than cereal. The bright packaging hides the truth. A mix of dyes and sugar that offer no vitamins, no fiber, and no real nutrition. The company sells fun and nostalgia while quietly ignoring the harm it causes. A healthy morning should not begin with a bowl of chemicals. Replace those rings with something real. Try oats, whole grain granola, or a handful of freeze-dried fruit for color and crunch. Natural sweetness does not need a factory to make it glow. Because breakfast is not supposed to be a chemistry experiment, it is supposed to be fuel for life, and your health deserves more than a handful of neon promises. Healthy Hues. Wellness continues to uncover what is real, what is risky, and what truly belongs in your bowl. No fiber, no fruit, and plenty of chemicals your body does not need. That is the real story behind those bright, colorful rings. The cereal that promises fun and fruity flavor delivers nothing but empty calories and synthetic dyes. It is not only misleading but dangerous, especially for anyone managing aging organs or sensitive systems. The truth is, your body does not need a rainbow made in a factory. You can have a colorful, satisfying breakfast naturally, A bowl of plain oats topped with freeze-dried fruit gives you the same sweet crunch and vibrant color but with nutrients instead of chemicals. Real food nourishes, fake color only fools you. If you think brand names guarantee quality, the next cereal proves otherwise. Number 4. Raisin Bran, the so-called healthy cereal hiding behind a sticky sugar coat. The word bran has always whispered health and regular digestion, but the truth is that the healthy image is built on sugar. Pour a bowl and you will see. The raisins glisten like candy rolled in thick layers of syrup that melt into your mouth like dessert. What looks like virtue is a trap. One serving of Raisin Bran contains more sugar than a glazed donut. The American Heart Association recommends seniors limit added sugar to about 25 grams a day. One bowl of Raisin Bran gets you halfway there before you even add milk. The label promises fiber, but that fiber comes with a heavy price. Each sugary raisin sticks to your teeth like glue, feeding bacteria and increasing your risk of cavities and gum disease. For older adults already dealing with dental problems, that means more discomfort and more bills. The sugar rush does not stop at your teeth. It hits your bloodstream, pushing your pancreas to flood the body with insulin. Over time, that constant demand wears your system down, worsening insulin resistance, the very condition this cereal pretends to prevent. Studies show that seniors who eat high-sugar breakfasts face more drastic blood sugar swings, fatigue, and brain fog, along with a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. A nutritionist once called Raisin Bran a donut in a suit. The fiber might be real, but it is wearing a sugary disguise designed to trick shoppers into feeling safe. The sunny purple box, the cheerful marketing, the promise of healthy digestion, all of it hides a simple truth. The glaze is the problem. For seniors managing heart, kidney, or blood pressure medications, that sugar surge can undo the very progress your prescriptions are making. It strains the kidneys and weakens the heart, turning breakfast into a daily setback. The good news is you can keep what works and fix what does not. Choose plain bran flakes and add your own unsweetened raisins or sliced fruit. You will get the natural fiber your body needs without the sugar shock. It is a simple swap that protects both your health and your wallet. Raisin Bran may look smart on the shelf, but in reality it is sugar in a suit. And just when you think the sweetness might end there, another childhood favorite returns with sharper edges and even sharper risks. Number 3. Captain Crunch, the cereal that scratches more than just nostalgia. Its promise is playful mornings, a smiling captain, and golden squares that stay crunchy no matter how long they sit in milk. But the fun fades quickly. Each cup packs about 12 grams of sugar, and the preservatives tell a different story. Take a closer look at those rough-edged squares. After a few bites, you might notice the sting on the roof of your mouth. That is not an accident. It is a design flaw that has become part of the brand's identity. Even former employees joked that it was sandpaper in a box, yet the company continues to sell it, leaning on nostalgia to keep customers hooked. The risks go beyond mouth pain. The sugar rush from a bowl of Captain Crunch sends blood pressure up, forces the kidneys to work harder, and strains the heart. The cereal also contains BHT, a preservative that has been flagged in studies for possible links to cancer. Europe restricts its use, but the FDA still allows it in American cereals. Once again, products are sold more safely overseas, while U.S. consumers are left with the full chemical load. The cheerful mascot and bold packaging hide the real cost. An unhealthy mix of sugar and preservatives that wear the body down. The nostalgia of childhood mornings is powerful, but it should not come at the expense of health. A bowl that scrapes your mouth and floods your system with sugar is not breakfast. It is a chemistry experiment. The fix is simple and honest. Replace the processed crunch with whole-grain granola mixed with nuts and seeds. You still get the texture, the satisfaction, and the morning crunch, but now it comes with protein, fiber, and nutrients your body can use. The goal is not to give up flavor or comfort. It is to reclaim breakfast from the companies that turned it into candy. Healthy Hues Wellness continues to uncover these hidden truths so you can fill your bowl with choices that actually support your health, not sabotage it. The first bite of Captain Crunch feels bold and familiar, but it does not take long for the illusion to fade. The crunchy pieces quickly turn into a sticky film that clings to your teeth, coating them with a sugary paste that feeds bacteria and invites cavities. For anyone with dentures or sensitive gums, it is more than discomfort. It is a small nightmare in every spoonful. 1 cup of Captain Crunch contains as much sugar as a frosted cupcake. Eat a regular bowl, which is closer to 2 cups, and you have doubled that amount before your day even begins. The American Diabetes Association warns against these morning sugar bombs, yet Quaker continues to market the cereal with cheerful commercials that tug on nostalgia. The problem is that nostalgia can be blinding. Eating what once felt playful as a child now works against the body of an adult. For someone in their 50s or 60s managing blood pressure, kidney health, or diabetes, this cereal is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Every spoonful adds more strain where the body can least handle it. It might taste like comfort, but it is comfort with consequences. There is a better way to keep that satisfying crunch without the crash that follows. Whole grain granola with nuts delivers the same crisp bite but replaces sugar with protein, fiber, and healthy fats that actually sustain your body. It fuels instead of drains, protects instead of punishes. Captain Crunch promises fun, but what it delivers is fatigue and imbalance. In truth, it is less Captain Crunch and more Captain Crash. And from one myth to another, we move to number 2, Special K, the so-called diet cereal that claims to slim your waistline but quietly fattens your risks. The brand markets itself as sleek and empowering, wrapped in shiny red boxes with commercials showing people slipping into smaller jeans. The flakes look crisp, the message sounds confident, but the truth hides in the fine print. Special K is not slimming your waistline, it is stripping your nutrition. Each serving packs a sodium punch that rivals a bag of potato chips. Sodium may seem harmless, but for seniors it is a ticking time bomb for blood pressure. Combine that with artificial flavors, synthetic vitamins, and preservatives like BHT, and what you have is not a health food but a laboratory experiment. Even former employees have admitted that the flakes were sprayed for texture, not nutrition. The squeaky crunch between your teeth is not elegance. It is chemical coating disguised as quality. This sodium overload does not stay on the label. It interacts with blood pressure medications, collides with diuretics, and forces the heart to work harder. Doctors have warned that high sodium combined with prescription drugs can cause dizziness, kidney strain, and dangerous pressure spikes. FDA findings support this, confirming that such additives intensify side effects in vulnerable groups. For those managing hypertension or heart disease, that morning bowl becomes a daily source of stress. Then there is the illusion of weight loss. Kellogg's Special K challenge encouraged people to replace meals with cereal to lose weight. It worked for the short term, but at a cost. The diet slashed calories along with protein, fiber, and healthy fats, the very nutrients that keep your metabolism stable. Nutritionists called it what it was: a temporary fix that leads to rebound weight gain and nutrient deficiencies. The body is not fooled by branding or slogans. When it is starved of real nutrition, it fights back with fatigue cravings and slower recovery. For seniors, that deception hits even harder. If you are already managing blood pressure or kidney problems, Special K adds more stress to a system that cannot afford it. This is not a breakfast that supports you. It is one that sabotages your health while pretending to help. The fix is both simple and satisfying. Replace the flakes with plain Greek yogurt and a handful of berries. It provides protein, probiotics, and natural sweetness that lasts. It is not just lighter on your system, it actively strengthens it. You get steady energy instead of a crash, real nourishment instead of empty promises. Special K sells itself as a partner in weight loss, but in reality it is another processed cereal loaded with additives and sodium spikes. It slims your nutrition, not your waistline. And while that might sound like the end of the story, the final cereal on this list takes the deception to a whole new level. Number 1. Honey Smacks, the cereal that nearly poisoned a nation. Kellogg's promoted it as a wholesome honey-glazed treat complete with a friendly frog mascot and golden flakes that sparkled in the bowl. But behind that cheerful image was a product that was more than 60% sugar, and at one point it carried a salmonella outbreak that shook the country. In 2018, the FDA and CDC recalled Honey Smacks after finding salmonella in boxes shipped nationwide. Over 100 people fell sick across 33 states. What was supposed to be breakfast became a national health scare. That single event revealed what the cereal had always been: a sweet, sticky hazard disguised as food. That outbreak was a nationwide health hazard, yet the cereal eventually crept back onto store shelves with the same sticky glaze and the same dangerous sugar load. Each serving of Honey Smacks contains nearly 15 grams of sugar, which is already half of the recommended daily limit for older adults in just one bowl. Add milk, maybe a few slices of banana, and you have turned breakfast into a diabetic landmine. The sensory experience itself is a warning. The puffs stick together in syrupy clumps, leaving a tacky coating on your fingers and a gummy film on your teeth. As you chew, the glaze turns into a thick syrup that clings to the back of your throat. It might taste indulgent at first, but beneath that sweetness is a heavy blow to your pancreas. The sugar spike comes fast, and what follows is a crash that leaves you tired and sluggish. For seniors or anyone on heart and diabetes medication, that kind of morning start does not just break promises, it breaks down your body's defenses. The real betrayal lies in the way this cereal was sold. For decades, Kellogg's marketed Honey Smacks as a wholesome honey-infused breakfast. But look closer at the ingredient list. The main ingredient is sugar, not whole grains, not oats, and not even real honey in meaningful amounts. They dressed candy up as breakfast, slapped a friendly frog on the box, and got away with it until the salmonella outbreak of 2018 exposed what was really inside. A health inspector once summed it up perfectly: this is not cereal, it is sugar held together with starch. For seniors trying to protect their health, this kind of deceit has no place in the pantry. The safer choice is simple and satisfying. Skip the frog and choose overnight oats with a drizzle of raw honey. You will still get the sweetness, but now it comes with fiber vitamins and slow-release energy that keep your body balanced instead of overworked. Honey Smacks may promise a golden glaze, but what it delivers is sweet, sticky sabotage. After that sugary disaster, it helps to take a breath because not every cereal is a trap. A few still deserve a place on your table. The first of our two safe picks is Original Cheerios, a rare example of a cereal that keeps its promise. No cartoon mascots, no chemical colors, and no syrupy coating. Just a plain yellow box filled with whole grain oats in simple ring form. Unlike the sugar bombs we have seen so far, Original Cheerios stays remarkably low in sugar, only about 1 gram per serving. Compare that to Honey Smacks at 15 grams, and you understand why Cheerios has lasted for generations. The toasted oats crunch softly, then melt cleanly in milk. The flavor is mild, nutty, and earthy without any sticky residue or fluorescent milk left behind. For kids, it may seem boring, but for your heart, boring can be beautiful. Cheerios' strength comes from what it does not need to hide. Made from whole grain oats, it carries the same natural compounds the FDA recognizes for helping lower cholesterol. This is not marketing, it is science. For seniors managing blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart disease, this cereal supports the body rather than fighting against it. One nutritionist once said, "Cheerios is the one cereal I do not mind my patients eating every day." That is not an advertisement, it is relief. Independent lab tests confirm that Cheerios remains low in added sugar and sodium even as competitors load their cereals with dyes and preservatives. Inside the box, there is no red 40, no yellow 5, and no chemical glaze pretending to be nutrition. Just oats, a bit of starch, and simplicity that works. It might not taste like dessert, but it is steady, trustworthy fuel. For older adults, that means stable energy, healthier kidneys, and a calmer pancreas. Add a handful of blueberries or a drizzle of raw honey, and you have a breakfast that is safe, satisfying, and truly heart-smart. But be careful. Once you move into flavored versions like Honey Nut or Chocolate Cheerios, you are right back in sugar country. The safety lies only in the original yellow box. Original Cheerios, the oat that kept its promise. And for those who want even more fiber, there is one final cereal that proves simplicity still wins. Shredded wheat. Thick woven blocks of pure whole wheat that crunch like twigs at first but soften beautifully in milk. It is not flashy, and that is exactly why it works. No frosting, no dyes, no preservatives, just real wheat in its most natural form. This cereal is fiber without fraud. There is zero added sugar, zero sodium, and no chemical interference. Every bite supports digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and lowers cholesterol naturally. For seniors, that fiber is gold. It keeps energy steady and the body regular without adding pressure on the heart or kidneys. When compared to cereals like Raisin Bran, which has more sugar than a donut, shredded wheat quietly stands apart. It has been on grocery shelves for decades, unchanged, because it never needed to hide anything. The FDA and nutritionists alike have long recognized that diets rich in whole grains reduce the risk of heart disease, and shredded wheat embodies that principle perfectly. It may not trend online, but it stands strong in every nutrition guide. It is even safe by European standards. No red 40, no yellow 5, no BHT, because there is simply nothing to ban. That is the beauty of real food. Bite into it dry and it might feel rough and plain, but soak it in milk and it turns into a warm, grainy texture that feels honest. No sticky glaze, no sugary coating, no fluorescent milk, just wheat. Maybe it seems bland, but for aging bodies, bland can be a blessing. No sodium spikes, no sugar surges, no chemical battles, just natural energy that supports your system instead of draining it. If you want to add a little excitement, do it the natural way. Add berries, a few banana slices, or a dusting of cinnamon. You will get sweetness without the sabotage. While flashy brands sell mascots and illusions, shredded wheat quietly delivers exactly what it promises. It does not scrape your mouth like Captain Crunch. It does not flood you with sodium like Special K, and it does not stain your milk like Fruit Loops. It just gives you what matters. Real food that keeps you alive and well. Shredded wheat. Proof that simple can still be powerful. Healthy Hues. Wellness reminds you not to risk your health on marketing myths. Choose honesty over hype and fill your bowl with foods that truly care for your body every single day.